You know, for a game that is 20% done, we've got a lot of footage of it. We've got interviews, we've got gameplay sessions, we've got a trailer, plus we already know a lot about Dragon Ball Universe, so we know what can we possibly expect from this game at this point. But you can take this from two sides. There are people who can look at the gameplay at a spot on notice, like, oh, that's an OTG, or oh, that's a Drive Hyper Super, and there are people that have been playing One Piece Burning Blood, Xenoverse, and Storm games their whole life, and their most complicated move list was this, and they don't know or have no idea what this game is going to be about, and how complicated it is mechanically. Since I've been on both sides, I think I can semi-perfect accurately tell you what your gameplay process will be like and what you should expect from your overall gameplay. And then you can tell whether you want to buy it or not. Now I have 3 parts to this, which is basically our plan for the video. Okay, first I need to definitely talk about similarities between this game and Marvel vs. Capcom and Guilty Gear, since you can't talk about this game without touching those. Then it's something more geeky, like roster and story, since we need to establish what kind of characters can there be in the game and what we can expect from the story or other modes that involve single player. And the third point, that is probably the most important one, is how could you possibly prepare if you don't know anything and you need some games to work on. Well, it's kind of an obvious point, but still, touching it. And that should be it. Okay, first point, let's go. First thing I noticed is that normal punches and kicks have pretty short range, and movement is a lot faster than that, meaning that you will have to get really close into your opponent in order to start your combo, and that implies a lot of skills in footsies, which is the art of movement. Looking at the air dashes, you can say that Guilty Gear style, air footsies, ground footsies, and that in theory requires a lot of skills. But the game features the special mechanics from air dashes that they call Super Dashu and teleporting, which will help you to reduce the amount of skill needed in order to get close in this unbelievable hiatus, because 3 characters on the screen from one side and 3 on another, all doing attacks and all influencing one another, because if you hit the support, for instance, with an attack, it gets hit too, so they're not invincible. You have to all calculate that before going in. And in order to help you out with that as a new player, what they have is air dashes and teleports. But you can't really abuse that. It's like a chakra dash in Storm 4, only it's not. The reason why you can't abuse it is because if your opponent does special move, there are separate invincibility frames on the special move that will just wreck your dash. But if opponent simply blocks it, you're simply plus on block. But he can special block it, which is a push block one, which also is present on Guilty Gear and Marvel vs. Capcom, and you will not be able to do anything because it pushes you way too far ahead. What seems abusable to me is the teleport, because it requires 1 meter to do, and yet you gain meter incredibly fast in this game. You walk forward, you gain meter. You punch somebody in the block, you gain meter. You're getting punched, you get meter. You buy the game, you get meter. Everything brings you meter, and there are not only 5 meters, not 6 meters, but 97 meters! I don't know why you need so much meter, but meter is everywhere, so yeah, you can teleport all over the place. And that's what probably is going to happen day 1. There's actually a lot of mix-up power in this game. Besides the regular overheads, you have supports that hit overheads, and you have a dust attack, which is like Guilty Gear dust attack, but you can use it in the air also, which means that opponent has to attack really fast in order not to get into it again. But okay, let's say you touched him. How hard will it be to deal the damage? Now you see this game features this weird normal that basically is a launcher, like in Marvel vs. Capcom 3, but instead of vertical launch, it launches you horizontally, so that you can follow up with Super Dashu and do a sufficient combo. But I gotta warn you here, this is the type of game that is gonna be heavy on combos, and by heavy I mean that if developers usually suck at their own games, and people in E3 that have only like hour to play the game invent combos that deal 30% damage already. That means that in thinking hands that know synergy between the assists, that know how to deal, how to do damage, it will mean 50% off, or maybe even 60 or 70, or even death sometimes, in one touch. You might think, bro, that's imbalanced, but no, that's actually how those games work. If you look at King of Fighters, for instance, same shit. If you look at even Burning Blood, same shit. Basically, 3 vs 3 type games is the games where you do a lot of damage via combo. But thankfully there is blue health. Basically, blue health is something that you gain after you got your ass handed to you by the combo or a super. It's something that is left, and in order to recover this blue health into the regular health, you have to switch the character, and while the character is switched, you regain this blue health. Again, Marvel vs. Capcom 3 mechanic. And there is a great plus to 100% combos in the fact that people don't tend to spam you. They tend to do this one combo to end you instead of just using one move over and over again trying to finish off. Even though in this game, supers have invincibility frames, meaning that there is a temptation for people to spam them, especially if they have a lot of meter, which is gained fast. They do a lot of damage via super, and they can just go super, 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 super. The only pleasable spam out of this is a transformation, which you probably wouldn't want to do because you get a stun after it, unless you're completely sure that you will end your opponent in that transformation. The same goes for the new mechanic called the Sparkling, which is basically Guilty Gear's Burst, but enhanced, because it not only fastly regains your blue health, but it also powers you up and breaks the combo, or if you're doing the combo, it can extend your combo, meaning that it's a powerful shit. There is actually one more mechanic that is pretty underrated but still is in the game, and that's Snapback. And what that does, it basically forces the change. It's for those situations where opponent is recovering his blue health, and a lot of it, and you want to finish him off, so you force the switch. But that's way too tactical. Also keep in mind that characters that we see in the demo are Shoto characters. Those are the basic characters, and there will most likely be characters that are completely unique in their gameplay and have different support, assist types, like something that helps you to create an OTG combos and stuff like that you shouldn't really think about right now. Different characters, their story, and how it can affect the gameplay is something that I would wanna discuss in another video if you guys are willing to see it. And if so, then I will see you in part 2, roster and story.